Okay, hello grade 9s. Today we are going to be looking at subtracting mixed fractions with the same denominator, which is related to what we were doing last class when we were adding. All right, so we're going to start off just like we did last time with a diagram. So below is a visual picture of how to subtract mixed fractions using diagrams. So we'll start off with 2 and 5/8. That's represented with 2 wholes and 5/8 shaded in. And subtracting from that is 1 whole and 3/8. So to do a question like this, we're going to do it a little differently. When we added, I said we should start by adding the whole numbers. Now, here, we're going to do a little differently. We're going to start with the partials. We're going to start with taking the 5/8, subtract the 3/8. The question becomes, can I take 1, 2, 3 away from the 5/8 over here? Can I take 3 away from 8? Well, I'm going to cross 1 out, 2 out, 3 out. So there is enough. How much is left? I did not stroke out 2 of the 8s. So the answer is going to be something and 2/8. Now that we've dealt with the partial pieces, we can deal with the wholes. I've got 2 wholes minus 1 whole. 2 wholes minus 1 whole gives me 1 whole. So the answer is 1 and 2/8. With all fractions, we must try to simplify. So if we are going to try and simplify this, we're going to try and think of a number that we can divide into both 2 and 8. That number is 2. So when we divide both top and bottom by 2, we get 1 and 1/4. So that's the answer when we're subtracting 1 and 3/8 from 2 and 5/8. Okay? So, using diagrams, subtract 3 1/4 minus 1 3/4. So, we have to draw a picture. So we draw a picture of 3 1/4. Quarters are nice, so I'll handle this using circles. The only thing I'm going to do here is I am going to go ahead and do this. Okay. I'm going to group this together, and then I'm going to clone it. So there's another one. I'm going to clone it. So here's another one. There's my 3. But I need a partial, so I'm going to drag that guy down here. There we go. So 3 1/4 is going to be 3 completely shaded in circles plus 1/4. So that's 1 of 4 pieces. That's 3 1/4 right there. Now I have to do the same thing for 1 3/4. So 1 3/4, same thing. Here's my 1 over here. That's kind of not working. So I'm going to take this one here. I'm going to clone it. I'm going to bring it right down here. So 1 3/4 is one whole circle shaded in plus 3/4 of 1. So I'm subtracting 1 3/4 from 3 1/4. How do we do this? Well, again, we're going to start with the partial pieces. We're going to start with the partial pieces. So can I take 3 away from 1? Can I take 3 away from 1? And the answer is no, you can't. So how are we going to do this? Well, somehow I've got these 3 pieces here that I'm highlighting. I got to take them away from 3 1/4. So I can take away my first one here, but I got to take away 2 more. So now I have to borrow from one of the holes. I'm going to borrow how many more? Well, I had 3 over here. I've only shaded 1 so far, or taken 1. I still need to take away 2 more. So here's 1 more, and here's 2 more. So what am I left with when I take those away? Well, what I still have left is I still have this whole one, this whole one. So that's 2 holes. And I have right here, I've got 4 holes, but I took 2 of them away. So I'm left with 2 left. So I've got 2. That's not what I wanted. 2. Still not what I wanted. Let me try this one more time. 2 2/4, which can be simplified to 2 1/2 left over. Okay? Okay. So let's do a few more examples without pictures this time. Okay. Subtract 11 5/8 minus 5 2/8. So again, we'll start off with the partials. Can I take 2 from 5? Yep. And if I do it, I get 3. 5 minus 2 is 3. The bottom stays the same, so 3/8. And I just subtract the wholes. 11 minus 5 is 6. So I get 6 3/8. I can't simplify that, so I'm done. Next one. If I have 5 6s, can I take away 3 6s? You bet. And I'm left with 2 6s when I do that. Now, for the big number, 7 minus 5, I get 2. So 2 2 6s. Now, again, if I'm going to put my fraction into simplest terms, I'm looking for a number that goes into both the top number and the bottom number. What goes into 2 and 6? 2. So I can divide both these numbers by 2. And when I do that, I get 2 1/3. The big 2, or the whole 2, doesn't change. When we're simplifying a fraction, only the numerator and denominator can be reduced or changed. Let's do another question. 4 1/3 minus 2 2/3. So I've got 1/3, and I'm taking away 2/3. If I try and take 2/3 or 2 away from 1, I can't do it. So what I have to do is I have to borrow. This number here isn't big enough, so I have to borrow. How do I do that? Well, I have to take 1 away from 4, and that gives me 3. Okay? Now, when I do that, I can take 3/3, that's a whole, that's what I took away when I made this a 3, and I can add it to the 1/3. So 3/3 and 1/3 makes 4/3. Okay? So 4 and 1/3 becomes 3 and 4/3. And how we get that is we take this number right here and add it to here. 3 and 1 make 4. So we get one less whole, so that becomes a 3, and 4/3. Now when we subtract, we should be able to do it okay. Can we take 2 away from 4? Yep, we get 2/3. And 3 minus 2 is 1. So the answer is 1 and 2/3. One last question, then it's practice time. 9 and 2/10 minus 3 and 7/10. So I can't take 7 away from 2. So I'm going to have to borrow, make this an 8. I'm going to add 10 to the 2. So that's going to make 12/10. And now I can go ahead and do the subtracting. 12/10 minus 7/10 is 5/10. 8 minus 3 is 5. So it's 5 and 5/10. We can simplify 5 out of 10 into 1/2. So the answer is 5 and 1/2. Okay? All right, now it's your turn. You're going to get some work to do, practice, and then you'll be good.